Last few days, people have said, well, why didn't Mike Huckabee just go ahead and get out of this race? Well, that's kind of what I said, too. And part of the reason is because I don't think that it would be fair or right to say to the people of Texas, who represent the largest Republican state in the country, to say to all of you that you don't even need to go vote, because the people in other states have already decided how it's going to be for you. I don't think that's... Here's what's going to happen between now and March the 4th. If we win Texas, all those talking heads that have been sitting up there in Washington telling everybody here in Texas that there was no point, that the nomination was already secured and the math doesn't work and all these things. If we win Texas, March the 4th, those talking heads are going to spend several hours trying to figure out what happened. I'm traveling all over this country. I've spent most months, one night a month in my house. The rest of the time, I'm like Yasser Arafat. I spend the night in a different place every night. Now, in my case, it was for a different reason than him. But the reason that I've been out there has nothing to do with enjoying flying. If there was any particular pleasure in that, it lasted about 15 minutes, and then the joy of that was gone. Let me make sure you understand. I love this country very much. It's been good to me. We've had new human life, whether it's a 12-year-old Boy Scout lost in the woods of North Carolina, 6 coal miners in Huntington, Utah, or 3 hikers at Mount Hood, Oregon. And the reason we do is because in this country we've always had a history of saying that each individual life has worth and value, and we uphold that. And let me tell you, I'm the only candidate left in this race who believes so strongly in the issue of the sanctity of human life. I don't want to just support human life. It is not that I'm the only candidate who even supports it. I want to go further than that. I want, as President of the United States, to lead a human life amendment so that we forever make sure that we value life in this country, the life of the unborn, the life of the terminally ill. This is a nation where we uphold the honor and dignity of every single human life. This ought to be a country where the opportunity is just as real for the poorest kid in the community as it is for the richest kid. That the opportunity is just as strong for the blackest kid as the whitest kid, or the brownest kid, or the reddest kid. This is a country where every single opportunity ought to be not because where a person was born or his or her last name, but because they were born in the United States of America, and that opportunity should be because all of us are created equal, endowed by our Creator with life, liberty, and the pursuit of the happiness. It's high time in this nation that we start addressing some of the problems that touch Americans every single day. We're losing jobs by the hundreds of thousands, in part because we don't enforce trade agreements on both sides of the border. And many Americans today worry every single day that they may end up going to work and being told this is your last week to have a job, because your job is moving halfway around the world, and it doesn't have to be like that. Part of the reason we're losing the jobs is because we have a government whose tax system works against us rather than for us. And we can do better than that. Particularly those who start small businesses and entrepreneurial activities, the toughest competition that you face in small business is not the competition from across town, across the country, or halfway around the world. It's the competition that comes from your own government, whose bureaucracy, paperwork, and tax system makes it impossible for you to succeed because you spend most of your time filling out paperwork for the government instead of taking care of your customers. There's a way we can fix it, and it starts with getting rid of 67,000 pages of unnecessary tax code from the IRS. In fact, I've got a proposal. If I get elected president, we're going to kill the IRS before it kills the last American child. you might as well just go ahead and vote for Senator McCain and let it be that. I get the impression you feel a lot like I do. But why should you give up your voice and your vote in Texas? In fact, do you realize that if I win Texas, it's going to change the dynamics of this entire race? People who want lower taxes, people who want to actually fix problems and not just talk about it, are going to have a voice. And there will be somebody still in the race who's actually run a government who has chief executive experience. And I really can't tell you enough how important it is that not only do you go vote, but that you get friends and relatives and people you work with and neighbors to go and vote with you. But I'm not going to be like some politicians that will say, now it doesn't matter who you vote for as long as you vote. Because that's really crazy. You see, it matters who you vote for. Someone you know is not going to vote for me, just tell them the election has been moved to March and there's no point in it until at least the end of March or April or May. And if they insist on voting, let the air out of their tires and do not let the tires that day. Our voters, you can vote early between now and March the 4th. In fact, I would suggest you do what we do in Arkansas. Vote early and vote often. People wonder sometimes why I am a person of faith and believe in things like the resurrection. It's because in my state, dead people come out of the cemetery every election year and vote. You think I'm kidding? There are counties in my state where more people vote than are registered. How do you figure that math? Now, stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Ladies and gentlemen of Texas, tonight I call upon you. True conservatives, patriots, people who believe that life matters, people who believe that marriage matters, people who believe that government ought to be limited and get off your back and let you live, people who believe that the purpose of government is to facilitate free enterprise, not to complicate it, people who believe that government is best left at the local level and that Washington needs to get off our backs and leave us alone and not try to tell us how to live. That we need a military that is strong enough so that no potential enemy would ever look at it and dare want to engage it in a battle. That we need people who would look at the challenges that we face, whether it's education or health care or transportation, and rather than just put it off on some future generation, we would tackle it, we would fix it, we would make it work because we're Americans and we know how to make things work when we put our minds to it. Washington is the answer, then you've got plenty of choices running for president, every one of whom have a Washington address. There's only one of us who doesn't. That's me. Has been in the Congress one of 535 people who have not fixed the problems that we've talked about tonight. And if you believe that suddenly they're going to have the bright light ideas to do it, then you have greater hope in them than I do. Because if they've been there and haven't fixed it from where they are, why would we give them the keys to a greater responsibility? Do we think they're suddenly going to come up